Hi everyone, welcome to the new episode of Peter's English podcast. Everything works well, monitoring system works well. It was funny the last live episode because the monitoring system didn't work and now I know where was the problem. I think the problem was with my internet who was too slow for streaming and recording. This was this was the main disaster. Disaster. I don't know if it is the right word for it. This was the main problem. And yes, of course, when I started to speak about Vera the Vampire Girl, I was more and more shy because it's about my character, and I wanted to tell you, and it was a problem for me. And yes, of course, the most funniest thing of the book Dracula by Bram Stoker was the scene where Dracula. Where the main character Mina had to drink Dracula's blood. Yes, of course, it was funny. I recommend you to read this book by Bram Stoker. And welcome. How are you people? I'm feeling well. Everything works well. It's Friday. And yes, in this episode I want to... Yes, I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten? Yes, of course. Welcome into the new episode of Peter's Book Magazine, where I want to talk about books in English that you can read in English. And in today's episode, I want to talk about John Ronald Reuel Tolkien and his big novel, The Lord of the Rings. And we can start. I want to talk with my co-host, Microsoft Copilot AI chatbot, because it's a good idea to talk about it, because the Microsoft Copilot has a lot. Can find information about every topic on the internet, and it has a big encyclopedic information about every topic. I really recommend you people, and we can start with the life of Tolkien. And I want to ask Microsoft Copilot that if he can write me information about the life of John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. Everything. I'm recording and streaming. Now everything works well. Write me a lot of information about Tolkien and his novels for my listeners. It is a shame that I cannot play you the voice of a chatbot. If someone knows how to play it in the legally way, you can write me and we can continue. Absolutely, Peter. Let's give your audience a rich, immersive dive into the world of John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, the man who didn't just write fantasy, he invented modern fantasy. Here's a treasure trove of content you can read aloud, stream, or adapt for your Tolkien episode. Who was J.R.R. Tolkien? Full name John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. Haha, I was right. Born January 3, 1892 in Bloemfontein, South Africa. Really? Yes, it could be so. Died September 2nd, 1973 in Bournemouth, England. Profession: Professor of Anglo-Saxon at Oxford, philologist, poet and author. Fun fact: he was a master of languages. He invented over 10 fictional languages for his books. Perfect. Including Elvish dialects like Quenya and Sindarin. Foof! Tolkien's most famous work. The first was The Hobbit. The year of publishing was 1947. The Hobbit is a children's adventure tale that introduces Bilbo Baggins and the world of Middle Earth. Yes, of course. And his biggest novel, The Lord of the Rings, 1954-1955, and it's an epic trilogy about Frodo's quest to destroy the One Ring and defeat Sauron. The next is The Silmarillion, 1977. Posthumous. A mythological prequel detailing the creation of Middle-earth and the ancient wars of elves and gods. What is Middle-earth? A vast fictional world inspired by Norse mythology. That's interesting. That's interesting for me. As you can see, we found Microsoft Copilot of any other chatbot. I didn't know this. It's very funny. Anglo-Saxon poetry and European landscapes. That's funny. It was inspired by Norse mythology, Anglo-Saxon poetry and European landscapes. Home to elves, dwarves, hobbits, orcs, ants and men. Tolkien created maps, languages, histories and cultures to make Middle-earth feel real. The Lord of the Rings. A quick summary. Perfect. Frodo Baggins inherits the One Ring forget by the Dark Lord Sauron. He joins a fellowship of heroes: Aragorn, Gandalf, Legolas, Gimli, Boromir, Sam, Merry and Pippin. Their quest: destroy the ring in the fires of Mount Doom. Themes: friendship, sacrifice, temptation and the battle between good and evil. People, read this. I was reading it only in Slovak, but I want to read it in English. And you can use audiobooks. Yes, of course, I can talk about audiobooks. I have to really recommend you audio. You can buy audiobooks in good e-shop that is only about audiobooks in English, and you can listen to audiobook and read in the same time. More information you will find only when you will write me. Now, The Hobbit, a lighter adventure. Bilbo Baggins is recruited by Gandalf and the 13th dwarfs to steal treasure from the dragon's smoke. Along the way, Bilbo finds the One Ring and meets Gollum. It's a tale of growth, courage and unexpected heroism. Tolkien's influence on fantasy. He defined the high fantasy genre. Epic quests, invented worlds, magical languages. Inspired authors like George Martin, Game of Thrones, Brandon Sanderson and Patrick Rothfuss. His work led to the creation of Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer and countless fantasy video games. Tolkien in pop culture. Peter Jackson's film trilogy 2021 from 2021 to 2023 brought The Lord of the Rings to global audiences. The Hobbit was adapted into a film trilogy 2012-2014. His stories have inspired art, music, games and academic studies. Elvish words you can teach your listeners. Melon, meaning in English friend. Namarie, for farewell. Elbereth or Gidoniel. Meaning of Elbereth Starkindler. That's interesting. Yes, you have something forgotten. Tell. No. Right. A short description of the Silmarillion. I haven't read it yet. I have to tell you people that I haven't read the Silmarillion by Tolkien. I have the book and a book and I want to read it. We'll see when. No worries, Peter, you're about to enter Tolkien's deepest lore vault and I've got your shortcut ready. The Silmarillion, short description of your podcast. The Silmarillion is Tolkien's mythological masterpiece, a collection of epic tales that lay the foundation for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. It tells the story of how the world of Middle-earth was created, the rise of powerful beings like the Valar and Maiar, and the tragic history of the elves and their sacred jewels, the Silmarils. Highlights include the creation of the universe through dive and music. The forging of the Silmarils by the elf Feanor. The rebellion of Melkor, later called Morgoth. The first Dark Lord. Legendary love like Beren and Luthien. I have to read it, people. What do you think? Epic battles, dragons, curses, and the fall of ancient kingdoms. The drawing of Númenor, Tolkien's version of Atlantis, the origin of the Rings of Power, and the rise of Sauron. It's like reading the Bible of Middle-earth, poetic, tragic, and full of cosmic drama. Perfect for listeners who want to understand the deeper mythology behind Frodo's journey. People, I had to read this. It sounds good. It's a masterpiece of the English language created by John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. What do you think? I had to do it. People. It's not it's, this is something different. It's sounding interesting. And now about the book. Write me a big description of the novel The Lord of the Rings without spoilers. And now, people, Microsoft Copilot has found a lot of interesting description about the Lord of the Rings. I think I think everyone knows the Lord of the Rings, but I think it's a good thing to remember what it's about. Absolutely, Peter. Here's a rich, spoiler-free description of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Perfect for your podcast listeners who want to explore Middle-earth without knowing the twists and turns. The Lord of the Rings. Epic fantasy without spoilers. The Lord of the Rings is a monumental work of high fantasy literature written by Tolkien, first published between 1954 and 1955 in 3 volumes. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King. Fourth, often called a trilogy. Tolkien intended it as one unified novel, divided into 6 internal books plus extensive appendices. Setting Middle-earth. The story unfolds in Middle-earth, a vast and intricately detailed world filled with peaceful countryside regions like the Shire, ancient forests, towering mountains and shadowy lands. Diverse cultures including hobbits, elves, dwarves, men and other mysterious beings. A deep history shaped by wars, legends and magical artifacts. Tolkien's world building is legendary, complete with maps, languages, genealogies and mythologies that makes Middle-earth feel as real as any historical realm. Themes and tone. The novel explores timeless themes such as friendship and loyalty, courage in the face of overwhelming darkness, the burden of responsibility, the corrupting nature of power, the hope, sacrifice, and resilience. Tolkien's prose is poetic, immersive, and deeply physiological. The tone shifts from light-hearted beginnings to epic grandeur, with moments of quiet reflection and intense action. Characters. We found spoilers, people. We found spoilers. The story follows a group of unlikely heroes, some small and humble, others noble and mysterious, who are drawn into a quest that will determine the fate of their world. Each character brings unique strengths, flaws, and perspectives, and their relationships evolve beautifully throughout the journey. Expect wise mentors, brave warriors, loyal companions, ancient beings with cryptic wisdom, and a central figure who carries a heavy burden with quiet strength. Literary legacy. Widely regarded as one of the greatest novels of the 20th century. People, this is the Bible of the fantasy, I think, by Tolkien. When you want to read a real fantasy, I think Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion and Bob Suranko. What can I do about it? What can I tell you about it? I think everyone knows what's the best of the fantasy, in my opinion. Of course, I can tell you my opinion. I was reading the Slovak version, and I was seeing, and I saw the movies, and I can tell you it's perfect, the both. But I think the best idea is to start with the reading, and the best for you, read it in English and listen to an audiobook. Perfect idea. And we can continue. Help define the modern fantasy genre. Inspire countless authors, films, games, and academic studies. Translated into over 38 languages and sold more than 150 million copies worldwide. That's a big number. Tolkien's background as a philologist and professor of Anglo-Saxon deeply influenced the linguistic richness and mythological depths of the story. Why it's perfect for a podcast. Offers rich vocabulary and poetic language for English learners. Provides cultural and literary insights for book lovers. Sparks imagination and philosophical discussion for deep thinkers. And it's just plain epic, a tale that stays with you long after the last page. Let me know if you want a dramatic intro like line. What do you tell me for my audience? I think that the best option for us is the novel The Lord of the Rings, and then watch movies. What do you think? Do you think about it? And now the answer of Microsoft Copilot. Absolutely, Peter. This is a legendary approach for your audience. Starting with the novel The Lord of the Rings unlocks the full depth of Tolkien's storytelling, language, and mythology before diving into the cinematic spectacle. Here's how you can explain it to your listeners. Why start with the novel? Richer detail. The book offers deep insight into the lore, geography, languages, and emotions that go far beyond what films can show. Tolkien's language, his poetic style, thoughtful dialogue, and invented languages like Elfish give readers a more immersive experience. Themes of growth. You feel the character development and the philosophical weight of their journey more fully in the book. Connection to the world. Reading first helps your audience understand why Middle-earth matters and where the movies draw their power. Then watch the movies. Visual magic. Peter Jackson's trilogy brings the world to life with stunning visuals and powerful performances. Emotional payoff. Knowing the full background makes every film moment feel richer and more meaningful. Group experience. Your listeners can read at their own pace, then gather for a movie watch party and podcast discussion. Podcast line for you. When we read The Lord of the Rings, we enter Tolkien's mind. When we watch the movies, we step into his world. Together, it's an epic journey no storyteller should miss. Let me know if you want a reading guide, a film viewing checklist, or We'll tour this saga into your podcast Owen Fellowship. Okay, people. In the end, or I don't know if it's in the end, but we can I publish some interesting sentences from the book with Mordor? Absolutely, Peter. You can share short, interesting quotes from The Lord of the Rings, especially those that mention Mordor, as long as you keep it brief and use them for commentary, education, or creative discussion. That's totally fair use for your podcast or YouTube episode. Here are a few iconic podcast-worthy lines you might love. No. You can read this alone. React. Oh, I wanted to tell Mordor. Mordor with the poetic way of from movie. Peter, you summoning the dark poetry of Middle-earth like a true ring bearer of drama. Let's channel the cinematic magic of Mordor with one of the most iconic poetic descriptions from the movie The Fellowship of the Ring. Boromir's legendary words about Mordor. We can read it. Why not? This quote is cinematic poetry, dark, dramatic, and unforgettable. You can read it aloud in your podcast with interest reader, maybe even at... Wait a minute, can I publish it? I'm streaming and recording. Absolutely, Peter. You're streaming, recording, and ruling Middle Earth, and you should shout it from the top of Mount Doom. Yes. Or Boromir's. Okay, we can do it. Wait a minute. Boromir's legendary words about Mordor. Yes, people, I like this word, Mordor. And we can start. This is the Boromir's legendary words about Mordor from the movie, The Fellowship of the Ring. One does not simply walk into Mordor. Its black gates are guarded by more than just orcs. There is evil there that does not sleep, and the great eye is ever watchful. It is a barren wasteland, riddled with fire and ash and dust. The very air you breathe is a poisonous fume. Not with 10,000 men could you do this. It is folly. Yes, people, Tolkien and his great novel, The Lord of the Rings. It's legendary, perfect. I like it. I like this story. I really recommend you to at first read it, buy an audiobook about it, and watch the movie. Watch the movie. The actors are great. The accuracies are beautiful. And thank you for watching, people. Thank you for listening. Everything worked great today because the monitoring system works well, and I'm feeling better because the last episode was a big chaos, but I'm not apologizing. It was funny, and I can end this, and I think I don't have any audience. And who knows, maybe one day I have an audience. And thanks to this episode where I chat with Microsoft Copilot, my favorite AI chatbot, I want to share with you how to talk with AI chatbots in a fun and educational way, because I think it's the future of the learning English, and you can improve your English skills thanks to chatting with AI chatbots in general. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I want to tell you next time, bye bye!